Trade 1, the Mookie Betts giveaway. Red Sox gift. The Dodgers a dynasty, 2020. When an outfielder is fresh off 4 consecutive All-Star appearances and a World Series MVP, the obvious move would be to lock him down, right? Well, not if you're the Boston Red Sox in 2020. Mookie Betts was at the peak of his game. 4 Gold Gloves, elite bat, and arguably the best all-around player in the sport. But after giving him a record $27 million in arbitration, the Red Sox decided they weren't ready to commit long-term, so they pulled the trigger on one of the most baffling trades in recent memory. Betts and pitcher David Price were sent to the Dodgers in exchange for Alex Verdugo, Jeter Downs, and Connor Wong. Verdugo has been serviceable, sure, but watching Mookie help turn the Dodgers into a dynasty, win another World Series, and sign a 12-year, $365 million deal has to hurt Boston fans every single night, especially considering the Sox have only made the playoffs once since he left. As Colin Cowherd said, never let great walk out the door. This ? This was the Red Sox slamming the door in greatness' face. But believe it or not, it's not even the worst deal in Red Sox history. That one's coming, and it involves a curse. Trade 2, Miguel Cabrera to the Tigers. A future Hall of Famer walks out of Miami, 2007. Let's head to South Florida for another franchise-altering misstep. In 2007, the Marlins traded away Miguel Cabrera, a 4-time All-Star by age 24, and pitcher Dontrelle Willis to the Detroit Tigers. Why? The short answer, stadium money problems. The long answer, an all-time financial blunder. In return, the Marlins got Cameron Maybin and Andrew Miller, 2 top prospects at the time, who frankly never came close to filling Miggy's shoes. Maybin played 4 seasons and accumulated just a 2.7 WAR. Miller struggled to a 5.89 ERA in Miami. Meanwhile, Cabrera went on to crush 373 home runs in Detroit, rack up over 2,300 hits, and win 2 MVPs. That's the kind of deal that doesn't just sting, it defines a franchise's reputation. Marlins fans still talk about this trade like it happened yesterday, because with trades this bad, time doesn't really heal. Trade 3, Pedro Martinez. Traded for DeShields, Dodgers' costly misjudgment, 1993. The Dodgers are a franchise known for making smart moves, which makes this next one all the more baffling. In 1993, they wanted to add speed to their infield, so they looked to Delino DeShields, a solid second baseman with quick feet and decent production. The price? An unimportant setup man named Pedro Martinez. The Dodgers didn't see him as a long-term starter. He was just 10-5 with decent stuff. But Montreal saw the future, and boy were they right. Pedro would go on to win 3 Cy Young Awards, collect over 3,000 strikeouts, and become one of the most dominant pitchers in baseball history. Meanwhile, DeShields hit just .243 with 15 homers in 3 seasons for LA. Even the Dodgers themselves admitted this was the worst trade in franchise history. And it's hard to argue. Giving away Pedro Martinez, that's a legacy-altering misread of talent. Trade 4, the Nolan Ryan disaster. Mets let a legend slip away, 1971. Here's one that still keeps Mets fans up at night. In 1971, they decided to move a 24-year-old pitcher with a ton of heat, but a control problem. Nolan Ryan had talent, sure, but his win-loss record and walk rates scared the front office. So they traded him and 3 other players to the Angels for 6-time All-Star Jim Fregosi. Ryan went on to strike out 5,714 batters, pitch 7 no-hitters, and keep throwing fastballs into his mid-40s. Fregosi, he played 146 games in 2 years and was gone by 1973. That's not just a loss, it's one of the most lopsided deals in sports history. Imagine giving up Iron Man for, well, Hawkeye. Sorry, Clint. Trade 5, John Smoltz for Doyle Alexander, Detroit's short-term gamble, 1987. In 1987, the Tigers were looking for a playoff push and needed a reliable arm. So they flipped a young, unproven minor league pitcher named John Smoltz to the Braves for veteran Doyle Alexander. To be fair, Alexander delivered in the short term, helping Detroit reach the ALCS. But Smoltz went on to pitch 20 seasons, win a Cy Young Award, become a postseason legend, and help Atlanta to a World Series title. Chipper Jones once said if humanity's fate was on the line in a Game 7, he'd want Smoltz on the mound. That's the kind of long-term payoff Detroit gave up for a few good months of solid pitching. Ouch. Trade 6, Randy Johnson leaves Montreal. Expos' massive miss, 1989. The Expos had Randy Johnson. Yes, that Randy Johnson, the big unit. And in May 1989, they traded him to the Mariners along with two others for Mark Langston and Mike Campbell. Langston started just 24 games before leaving in free agency. Campbell never even threw a pitch for Montreal. Randy, he collected 5 Cy Young Awards, 303 wins, and more strikeouts than any left-hander in MLB history. Oh, and don't forget the bird incident. Even pigeons fear this man. Trade 7, the Tatis Jr. blunder. White Sox lose a superstar, 2016. Let's talk about a deal so bad, White Sox fans are still trying to wake up from the nightmare. In 2016, chasing a playoff spot, the Sox traded for veteran pitcher James Shields. In return, they sent over a minor leaguer named Fernando Tatis Jr. 3 years later, Shields was 1635 with a 5.31 ERA. Tatis? He became San Diego's golden boy, finishing top 5 in MVP voting twice and electrifying the league with his energy and power. Yes, he had a PED suspension, but that doesn't undo how badly the Sox fumbled this deal. This was like trading Thanksgiving mashed potatoes for a tofu salad. Just why? Trade 8. Mark McGwire goes to St. Louis, Oakland's power loss, 1997. Mark McGwire was the face of Oakland in the late 80s. But after some injury-plagued years, the A's decided to sell high in 1997. They sent him to the Cardinals for Eric Ludwig, TJ Matthews, and Blake Stein. McGwire went on to hit 220 homers in St. Louis, including the iconic 62 in 1998 that broke Roger Maris's single-season home run record. The pitchers Oakland got in return combined for fewer than 30 wins and 0 impact. It was the end of an era in Oakland and the beginning of a home run renaissance in St. Louis. Bad look for the green and gold. Trade 9. Bagwell for a reliever. Boston's unforgivable prospect deal, 1990. In 1990, the Red Sox were in win-now mode and needed bullpen help. So they traded away a promising minor leaguer named Jeff Bagwell to the Astros for veteran reliever Larry Anderson. Bagwell went on to hit 449 homers, win MVP, and become a franchise icon in Houston. Anderson pitched 15 games for Boston. That's it. To make it even worse, Bagwell was a New England kid who dreamed of playing in Fenway. The Sox didn't just trade talent, they traded a future Hall of Famer and hometown story. Brutal. Bagwell didn't just thrive, he transformed the Astros into perennial contenders through the 90s and early 2000s. His unique batting stance and explosive swing became his trademark. Meanwhile, Boston's bullpen woes continued long after Anderson was gone. Fans still wonder how management missed his potential. It's a reminder, chasing short-term fixes can cost you generational greatness. Trade 10. The curse begins. Babe Ruth sold to the Yankees, 1919. And finally, the trade that started it all. In 1919, the Red Sox sold Babe Ruth to the Yankees for $100,000 and a mortgage on Fenway Park. Why? Owner Harry Frazee needed cash to fund a Broadway show. The Yankees became a dynasty. Ruth hit 714 home runs and changed baseball forever. The Red Sox, they didn't win another World Series for 86 years. It became known as the curse of the Bambino. And whether you believe in curses or not, the heartbreak was real. Boston lost Game 7 in 4 different World Series, including Bill Buckner's infamous error in 1986. They finally broke the curse in 2004, but the Ruth deal will always be remembered as the worst trade in baseball history, and maybe in all of sports. It wasn't just a bad trade, it rewrote the balance of power in baseball. The Yankees soared, building a legacy on Ruth's bat, while Boston's fortune crumbled. Fans blamed everything on the curse, missed fly balls, blown leads, even bad weather. For generations, what if Ruth had stayed, haunted Fenway. That one deal changed everything, on and off the field. So what makes a bad trade truly legendary? It's not just the talent that gets away, It's how long a team suffers because of it. From superstars sold for pennies to generational arms traded for short-term help, these deals show just how high the stakes are when a GM picks up the phone. Because in baseball, sometimes one bad trade isn't just a mistake, it's a legacy. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and check out our deep dive on the most unbelievable 1 in a billion moments in baseball history.